You're being birthed into the next version of you. You're birthing into a new version of you that has nothing to do with who you were in those dysfunctional ways. Then the world around you, there's kind of conflicting, because the world around you has a projection of who you are. They hold that as who you are, as if that is really you, that version of you. And they can only relate to that. So when you start stepping out and coming from a completely different space, there's a conflict, or there's often no meeting, or there's like those people in situations will want to try to keep you as you were. And if you only know how to relate with those people by being that, it's kind of like a pull on those outdated behaviors, because the new form of relating hasn't taken shape. So when you get an activation, your dysfunctional version of yourself, when you get activated, triggered by something, the dysfunctional version of yourself would have reacted and behaved in certain ways that all link back to your core personality traits, because there's a trigger, right? And so the only way that's triggered knows how to respond is through those old outdated behaviors, and they will get activated. And it's within that process, if you're present enough and you're aware and you can see without getting tripped back into the deep fear of loss and unworthiness and all that comes with whatever the core belief is, if you can see and you're present and you can see what the true movement is when you're stepping into who you actually want to be, when you're taking your next step, this is the birthing. When you're taking your next step into who you actually want to be, that's a birthing of a new version of you, which may not be pleasing to everyone around you. It may not be however other people can relate to, but it's a step into who you know you have to be. And that takes courage. And you are birthed in the process because your state of consciousness is changing, which is getting now embodied by these steps. Because it's the steps in your behaviors that embody the realization. The recognition and the expansion of awareness, consciousness, clear seeing happens in your consciousness, but the actual, like you realize and you see, but the actual embodying of that happens when all your stuff is activated and you're pulled into a situation that would normally have a version of yourself that doesn't match your realization. It's like it's behind. It's when you make a new step, it gets embodied. A step that is aligned to your realization. And that can feel like taking a jump. because you don't know the result of that. You know the result of dysfunctional drama. You know the result of that, but you don't know the result of what happens when you embody a truth that comes from a higher version of yourself.